Street teaching on the weekend like usual. Pray before we begin, that's beautiful. Scoffers think they passed us, they doing too much. You haven't done no fasting, you're too turned up. Danyala got his rib at the house sewing up. That's why I keep the fringes on my shirt so tough. Niggas dance like women, man, that shit too sus. I just did a world premiere, that shit going up. It's a bad connection, girl, we keep breaking up. Looking at my wife the only time that I lust. Precept after precept got my readers going nuts. I ain't talking knives, but you keep getting cut. Don't have a lack of faith, that's a doubt. You ain't beat me to the first base, that's a out. You can't put the anklet on your ankle, got the gout. That's because you putting too much pork in your mouth. You should work your
Time to rise. Hallelujah. I need a second witness. Let's go. I call heaven and earth to record this moment in time that we, the chosen people of Yah, have aligned with the divine. The only thing on our mind is absolute repentance. Our identity has come to our remembrance, and the remedy for this painful sentence.
Shabbat Shalawam, Shabbat Shalawam. Let's give all praises, honor, and glory, esteem to the Father Yahweh, the Ancient of Days, the Giver of Life, the Taker of Life. For those who may not know, why do we say the Ancient of Days? Because that's what's written in the Bible. I will show you that in a little bit. It's in the book of Daniel. And we also say we praise Hamashiach YAHAWASHI, his only begotten Son, our brother, our friend, for doing all that he has done. Shalawam, peace and blessings to all of the Ahchyam, the Achwathyam, which are the brothers and sisters scattered to the four corners of the earth. Shalawam to you guys. Make sure that you hit that like button to subscribe for us and share this message, right? We do these messages to edify, to build up those individuals. Just as we build ourselves up, we have to build the nation and individuals up. Let's see if we have anybody in the chat. Shalawam, Brother Philip, YAHAWAH in the Hebrew. He says, Shabbat Shalawam, family, call hello. Abanawa Yahweh, SHAM, Hamashiach YAHAWASHI, our high priest, Barakatham, which means bless you. And he's saying, you know, giving praises and calling on our high priest, Hamashiach YAHAWASHI. And then we also have Jenny Wood, official. And she says, Shalawam. Let us know in the chat if everything is clear. The audio is clear. The visual is clear. Everything is clear. We say a prayer for our brother's wife that she's feeling ill. So we want to give it a moment of silence for that, for the Most High, for the brother. And may everybody say a prayer that his family and his wife will heal, get better ASAP, as soon as possible, right? So we want to let that be known so those prayers can go up for the family and for his wife that she's a little under the weather, right? We just wanted to give a moment of silence for the Most High and for anybody who may wanted to say a prayer for the family, his wife, and any other brothers and sisters that's out there. Mayan, she says, Shabbat Shalawam, Mashkapa, call hello, Yahweh, Basham, Mashiach, Yahushai, Barakatham, Khan. Jenny Wood said everything is clear in the chat, Khan. So if you can see the title, it says The Faithful Three. Now, those three, you can see from the thumbnail, are Meshach, Abednego. For those people who know, we're going to get into that, right? Straight into it. Not going to hold you long today. It's not going to be a long lesson because it's about faith, right? Now, what is faith? Well, we know faith is a substance of something that's unseen. A lot of people want to see. A lot of people want to touch. They want to hold. People always ask me, where can we go and worship? Do you have a building? Do you have this? People want to see things. And I can understand that because I'm a human being too. I'm an earthly creature. I go through the same things that everybody goes through, ups, downs, right? But they want to see something so bad to where it deters the faith. But when we look into the scriptures, we see that the faith that these people had, the Israelites, they didn't need to see anything. They just had the faith within them. So I'm going to play a video. We're going to get into some scriptures, and then we're going to go from there, right? Once again, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like button, share, subscribe, and give praises to the Most High Yahweh and His only begotten Son, YAHAWASHI. Let's get right into it. Does anybody remember what scripture I said I was going to show them? Nobody was paying attention. I was not in here. I just said it. I don't know. Hebrews 11, chapter 1. And it says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So anybody who has faith, especially, right, especially in the Most High and His only begotten Son, Hamashiach Yahawashi, is something that's unseen. You haven't seen it. You can feel it, but you haven't seen it. And clearly in here in the New Testament, in the book of Hebrews chapter 11, this is exactly what it goes into right away, that faith is a substance of things hoped for. What do we hope for? Well, we hope to make it to the kingdom. We hope to be, when we're resurrected, that we're resurrected for the good and not for the unrighteous and evil. Even though we will be judged for that, we still hope that we make it to the kingdom, right? And the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained a good report. And verse 3 says, through faith we understand that the words, Salakia, we understand that the worlds were formed by the word of the Most High, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. As we're here on earth, we have two, how can I say, dimensions. I'll say dimensions. You have the dimension that we can see, like I see people here. You feel wind on you when you go outside. You may feel the sun on your skin. You may feel rain when it drops on you, snow, hail, all these different things that you can feel, but yet you don't know where they come from. It could be windy outside. You step outside and the wind is blowing, but you don't know where it's coming from. It could be blowing from the west 1 minute, and then all of a sudden it turns directions. Now it's blowing from the south, right? The other day, it happened to us. It was a nice day outside, kind of a little cloudy, but it was nice. And then all of a sudden, I was on my way home, and the sky lit up with lightning. Then it started thundering. Now we can hear the thunder, right? And some people get scared. I've seen people get scared, but you can't see it. You can only hear it. Now, do you believe that it's thunder? Question. Do you believe that it's thunder? You hear it, right? But you don't see it. You can only hear it. You believe that it's wind, but you can't see it. What I mean by see it, you can actually see the leaves and stuff blowing away, so you know it's wind. You can feel it on yourself, but you can't see the presence of it. Like you don't know where's all this coming from, right? So what I'm trying to say is things in this actual world that happens that we can't explain or understand, and not only that, we can't see, right? Can you explain why snow falls? I mean, we know it gets cold at a certain temperature, and then the moisture hits that certain level to where when the raindrop falls from the sky, it's so cold that it turns into what? Ice. Then they turn into flakes. But we can't explain why that happens from a cloud. If I give you we're going to move on. If I give you 2 buckets of water right now and ask you to carry it, it's going to be heavy, correct? The water's heavy. So how can a cloud blow through the sky and drop water, but it's not heavy to the cloud? The cloud should be weighed down, should fall. So I'm just trying to show and say that it's things that happen within this world that we don't understand because there's another dimension to it that we can't see, right? And we'll come back to this book of Hebrews when you go deeper into it. I'll just read verse 4 real quick. It says, in faith, Salakia, by faith, Abel offered to the Most High a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, the Most High testifying of his gifts, and by it he being dead yet speaketh. So who had faith? Abel did. Who taught Abel to have faith? Does anybody know who Abel was? Who was Abel? Adam's son, right? So who taught Abel to have faith? Adam. He taught him. He had to teach him about the Most High, and he told his son Abel, put your faith in who? The Most High. It says in 5, by faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found because the Most High had translated him. For before his translation, he had this testimony that he pleased the Most High. Verse 6 says, but without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them, or Salakia. I want to stop right there. A rewarder. So you will get a reward. Peter, huh?
A rewarder of them.
Yeah, rewarder of them. But I just wanted to stop right there and focus on that reward, because Peter asked a question when he left everything. Peter asked Hamashiach, what will we receive, or what will we get? We have fulfilled everything, meaning we have gave everything that we have, our whole life up to serve you and walk with you. And Hamashiach YAHAWASHI told him right then and there, you will sit on 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. So everybody that has faith in the Most High and walks with the Most High, he will reward you. You will get a reward. You won't get it now, right? You won't get it now. Some aspects you will, but the great reward, you won't get it now. You'll get it later. And sometimes that's hard for people, because sometimes you want your reward right now, but you don't get it like that. So as she was saying, a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. What does it mean to diligently seek him? I mean, every day you should be doing something that has to do or pertaining to seeking the Most High, right? Seeking Hamashiach YAHAWASHI. Your mind should be on that. I don't want it should be constantly, but I don't want to say constantly, because you have things in life that you have to do, but the majority of your mind, or the majority of your mindset, should be focused on that, and how seeking him will help you, right? I'm gonna stop right there because we can continue to go on. I'm gonna play this video real quick. Let me stop sharing this. I want to play this video real quick about faith, right? And You guys tell me what you think in the chat after you watch this. Now, I'm not going to play the whole video, so I got it kind of tuned up to where I'm going to start it at. I wish I could start it from the beginning, play the whole thing, but for time's sake, we just going to play this part, and, you know, here we go. The sister Adriana, if I'm not mistaken, the Adriana, yeah. Shabbat Shalawam, sister Aqua. Shabbat Shalawam. So I'm gonna play this video. Thank you for tuning in. Please make sure to hit that like button. Here we go.
Not a problem. If you got some good evidence, bring it. Bring it.
So the question is, does he believe in? Let me go back to the beginning, and I'm gonna jump back where we at 706. This is the question that he's answering, right?
Okay, so here he's about to explain why he finds it hard to believe in God.
The more I look at the universe, just the less convinced I am that there is something benevolent going on. So if your concept of a creator is someone who's all powerful and all good, all powerful and all good, and I look at disasters that afflict Earth and life on Earth, volcanoes, hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, disease, pestilence, congenital birth defects. You look at this list of ways that life is made miserable on Earth by natural causes. And
this is why a lot of people don't believe in the Most High, right? Don't believe in his only begotten son, Hamashiach YAHAWASHI, because they say, how can a little baby get shot in the head? How can a little baby get put in the microwave or an oven? How can a woman get raped, robbed, and killed? How can people, all these different things that happen to individuals, like he said, volcanoes, earthquakes, all of these disasters, what's the tsunamis that killed all these people? But what he fails to realize is that when sin entered the world, when mankind fell, these are all of the things that came: disease, pestilence, right? Evil, wickedness. That's not how the world was designed in the beginning. But since the world fell, then these are the things that happen, right? So I'm going to jump back to, like I said, about 7 and let him continue on, and we'll go from here.
If you got some good evidence, bring it. Bring it. Okay?
That's what he wants, evidence. Remember what we just read. Hebrews 11:1 says what? Faith is what? The substance of things, what? Unseen. But he said what? What did he just say? If you have some good evidence that you could show me. So he wants to be showed something. He wants to see something. He doesn't have faith, right?
So, evidence. Well, I think there will always be an element of faith when it comes to God, because when you look at how he operates throughout the Bible, it's always faith, this idea of trusting in something without evidence. It's faith that unlocked God's promises in Scripture. You know, Abraham, he had to have faith that God was speaking to him, and in trusting that voice of God, he then relocated his entire family, and then he was blessed for doing that because he acted on faith. Noah had to have faith to build an ark so that he could be saved from the flood, right? But he had to have faith that it was going to rain in the first place. And so he was blessed after he acted upon faith. And so all throughout the Bible, we see that faith is what unlocks God's promises. And so if that is the case, if faith is the thing that unlocks the promises of God, we can see why the greatest promise, inheriting his kingdom, would have to be unlocked with a great act of faith. And what greater act of faith could there be than believing that someone rose from the dead?
Did you hear what he said? Look at what the screen says. Unlock with a great act of faith. That's what this whole lesson was about, right? Or is about, Salakia, about those three. So as we continue on in this video and to impact everything or bring everything together, let's go back real quick to the scriptures and let's go to the book of Daniel real quick, because this is who we talking about. That gave that what? Great, Anybody? That great what? Great act of faith. The great act of faith that they gave, right? Let me go to let's go to the book of Daniel. Chapter 3. Right? We don't have to read it all. Let's just get straight to it. For those who don't know, this is Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon. Right? Let's jump down to, let's see. Well, he gives the decree here. Like I said, I don't want to have to read it all 10 and 11. Let's just start at verse 11. Right? He gives the decree in verse 10. When you hear the sound, when you hear the flute, the harps and things of certain things, it says in the ending of verse 10, shall fall down and worship the golden image, right? Now, mind you, the children of Israel are in captivity, slavery, bondage in Babylon. Nebuchadnezzar is the king, the ruler. He gave a decree in verse 10 that when you hear these things, that you shall bow down to the image that he has created, this golden image. Verse 11 says, whosoever falleth not down and worship, that he should be cast into the midst of a what? Burning, fiery furnace, right? So if you don't bow down, you got to get through into the furnace. Here we are, verse 12. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the provinces of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Now remember the video that we just watched, and where we stopped at, it says to unlock with a great act of what? Faith. So these people came and told the king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, that, hey, these Jews, they're not bowing down. They're not doing what they are told to do. It says in verse 13, then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage, he's upset, in fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. So you telling me out of all the people in the kingdom, they singled out these 3 Jews. Maybe the rest of the Jews bowed down, They had to.
They did.
They did. So out of all of those other Jews, or we'll say Jews, that were there, these 3 men didn't bow down, but all of the rest did. Because if there were more, there would have been more brought and cast into the fire. But these 3 men stood up for the Most High. They did a great act in their what? Faith for who? The Most High. Let's continue on. You know, we see another one of these type of things in the book of Acts with our brother Stephen, right? Verse 14, it says, Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? He want to know, is it true? Verse 15, now if you be ready, that at what time you hear the sound of the flute, the harp, the psaltery, all these different instruments, you fall down and worship the image which I have made. But if Ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. And who is it that the Most High that shall deliver you out of my hands? So now he's speaking ill against the Most High. He threatening Meshach and them, the Abednego, and basically he's putting that fire on them. He's giving them a way out, and he's letting them know, if you do this, I'll let you go. All you got to do is bow down to me or to the image. It's the same thing. It's his image. So if you bow down to the image, you bowing down to him. He's giving them a way out, saying, if you worship me and you bow down, I'll just let you go. I'll just let you go. Let's see what verse 16 says. Verse 16 says, Daniel chapter 3, verse 16, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our Allah, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thy hand, O king. So they had faith to tell the king of Babylon, the one who conquered them, the one that they're enslaved to, that their power, the Most High Yahawah, will deliver them out of his hand. Listen to this though. Verse 17 says, but if not, meaning if he doesn't deliver us, he might not. You might have to go through the fiery furnace. He says, but if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. So they let him know, even if he doesn't deliver us and we have to go to the fiery furnace, it does not matter. We still don't care. We'll rather go to the death than to bow down to your image. Just to let you know that we serve who? The Most High Yahawah. That's a great act of what? Faith. That's a great act of faith. Who else had a great act of faith similar to this when they were tempted and tested? Because this is a test. This is a test by the Most High. Abraham had one when he had to deliver up his son. Anybody else? Abraham had to deliver up his son Isaac when the Most High asked him to sacrifice his only son, Isaac, the one he loved, right? Anybody else have any input? Who? Daniel. This is Daniel. You talking about Daniel when he got put in the lion's den? Daniel when he got put in the lion's den? Anybody else? Give us a good one.
Those weren't good.
No, I'm talking to Jenny Wood. Give us one. So we got Daniel, we got Abraham. Let's come back. We'll come right back to this. Let's get why not get our brother Hamashiach when he was tempted? And we'll come right back to the book of Daniel. Right back. Anybody say anything in the chat that I need to go to?
No.
Okay. Matthew chapter 4, verse 1. It says, then YAHAWASHI led up of the spirit, the Rakah, into the wilderness to be tempted of who? The devil. And when he fasted 40 days, 40 nights, he was afterward hungered. Man, I can't imagine. I don't know. I can't even fathom it to go 40 days and 40 nights with no food, no drink. I mean, I know I would be at a very, very low state. You see that? What's that show I used to watch when they put them people way out and give them like a stick and a pot, naked and afraid. And how many days do they do? 20, 15?
Some people, yeah, 20 days. But there's some people who do it.
Yeah, they did like 40, but you lose all that. You lose all that weight, and you be looking all sucked up. So just imagine that, Hamashiach, 40 days. The tempter didn't come until 40 days. He wanted him as weak as possible, as hungry as possible. This is why the Bible lets us know afterward he hungered. Here it is, verse 3. And when the tempter came to him, look at the devil. He waited 40 days. And then here he come, the devil. He don't come when you think he coming. He's evil. When you at your lowest point, he come. And the tempter came to him. He said, if thou be the Son of the Most High, command that these stones be made bread. Questioning the Most High's authority, questioning the Son's authority, and then saying, won't you turn these stones into bread if you're really hungry? Hamashiach YAHAWASHI knew that this was a test from who? Who is this test from? It's from the Most High. The Most High knows how hungry he is in his flesh that he's in, how low of an estate that he's in the mindset.
Oh, Sister Adriana put people in. She put Joshua when he had to conquer the new land. And
hold on, we can't hear you. Speak up, son.
Joshua when he had to conquer the new land, and King David when he had to face Goliath. Okay.
Thank you for that, Sister Adriana. She was saying, if you couldn't hear her, we'll say it again. Joshua, when he had conquered the new land, which he did, right? Well, you could start that in the book of Joshua, chapter 1. And even there, he tells us to be what? Courageous. I believe that's Joshua 1, 7, 8, 9 on down. Read the whole thing, right? So she's completely correct. King David, when he had to face Goliath. Oh, man, that was a great act. He even told the people, why are you guys scared when we walking with the Most High? Right? Get that quote for me. Somebody pull that quote that David quoted when he was right before he was about to go up against Goliath, when he told Saul and everybody else, why are you guys scared when we walk or we have the power of the Most High? If somebody can get that for me, that was a great, that was something great in the chat that the sister dropped. All praises, Adriana, for that one. All praises to the Most High for that one. That was a beautiful one right there. Beautiful. And we're going to get that to show it on the screen, right? We're going to get that to show it on the screen. So the Most High is tempting Hamashiach YAHAWASHI through the devil in verse 3. In verse 4, it says, Hamashiach YAHAWASHI answered and said, it is written. So where did he go back? He went back to the very word of the Most High in the Torah in Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 3. That's where it's written at, for those who may not know. Man shall not live by bread alone, right? So yeah, I need that bread. I'm hungry, but I just cannot live by that only. A lot of us as humans or individuals living on this earth are only living by bread alone. What does that mean? You may get up, take a shower, brush your teeth, get dressed, go out the course of the day. You fix your little breakfast, or you stop and get your little breakfast at McDonald's, Jack in the Box, Burger King, wherever you go, Hardee's. You eat your lunch. You eat some dinner. You come home, take your bath, shower, whatever, watch you some TV, play with the kids, do your adult time, whatever that may be, and then you lay down and you go to bed. Right? All you had was bread only. through the course of that whole day, that 24 hours of a day, yeah, you went to school, you went to work, you did this, you did that, you played with the kids and you ate, but all you had was bread only. You missed a big part of it right here. This is why Hamashiach Yahawashi says, man shall not live by bread only, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of the Most High. Did you get some of that food? Did you get some of that bread that proceeded out of the mouth of the Most High? You need that in order to live and sustain yourself through the course of your life here. Right? But that wasn't good enough for the devil. Let me know when y'all got that for Daniel. And then it says in verse 5, then the devil taketh him up into a Quadash city or a holy city and setteth him on a pinnacle of the temple and say unto him, if thou be the Son of the Most High, cast thyself down, for it is written, he shall give his angels charge concerning thee, and their hands they shall bear thee up, lest at any time thou shalt dash your foot against the stone. Yahawashi said unto him, it is written again. Where is he going? To the Torah again. Thou shalt not tempt the Most High Yahweh, thy power. That wasn't good enough for the devil again. Verse 8, it says, again, the devil taketh him up into a exceeding high mountain and showeth him all the kingdoms of the world and the glory of them, and saith unto him, all these things will I give thee if thou wilt what? Fall down and worship me. That sounds just like the king that we talking about in Daniel chapter 3, Nebuchadnezzar. I'll let you go. I'll let you keep your life. The status that you have here in Babylon, you can keep that. All you have to do is fall down and worship my golden image. Satan says the same thing right here to Hamashiach, Christ. Nebuchadnezzar says it to Meshach, Abednego. So it's the same thing. Did they fall down and worship? We're going to read that, but we know the story. No, they didn't. Did Hamashiach Yahawashi fall down and worship the devil, Hasatan, Satan right here? Verse 10 says, then Yahawashi, Salakia, then saith Yahawashi unto him, get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, thou shalt worship Yahweh thy power, or thy Allah, and him only shalt thou serve. And then the devil left. And behold, the angels came and ministered unto him. But what did he have to do? He had to stand up to the devil. And how did he stand up to him? By the bread or the word of the Most High. So you need that in your daily course of life, right? Not bread only, but you need the word of the Most High. And it says here that we should only worship who? The Most High. A lot of people worship other things. A lot of people worship Yahawashi, who the world says Jesus Christ. Most of Christianity worships Christ. They do. They think that's why they say he is what? God.
Question.
You got a question?
Is that what verse were you looking for?
I was looking for when David says to
You said this all. The master that delivered me out of the paw of the lion and out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine.
yeah, that too. Yeah. Where you at? Let's get it.
37.
What?
1 Samuel 17.
1 Samuel 17. Let's get it.
Verse 37.
1 Samuel. This is for the sister Adriana. She's still on there. Let's get it. 1 Samuel chapter 17. Let's get that.
That was the man, though, right? What you talking about?
Well, see, they didn't want David wasn't a fighter, so they wasn't gonna let him go down, right? But David was like, we walking with the Most High, so it doesn't matter. Let me get this real quick. Let me see. Let me see. You said verse what?
37. And then it goes on to talk about after that, like the stones and the giant, but basically like that was the faith that he had there.
See, in verse 24 right here, 17 and 24 says, all the men of Israel, when they saw the man, fled from him and were so afraid. Who were they afraid of? Goliath, right? All of the men of Israel. Verse 25, it says, and the men of Israel said, have you seen this man that come up? Surely to defy Israel, he come up, and shall be that the man who killeth him, the king will enrich. So whoever killed this man, which is Goliath, right? The king is going to enrich him. And it says, and will give him his daughter and make his father's house free in Israel. So he will be free. He will get the king's daughter. He's going to be enriched. And verse 26 says, and David spake to the man that stood by him, saying, what should be done to the man that killeth the Philistine and taketh away the reproach for Israel? For who is this uncircumcised Philistine? Who is this man? I don't care who he is, that he should defy the armies of the living Most High. Thank you for that. Right? He talking to the other Israelites, talking about, what are you guys talking like? What? How can he overcome us, the armies of the living of the Most High? Verse 27, and the people answered him after this manner, saying, so shall it be done to this man that killeth him. Right? And you said you was at verse what?
37. You see it?
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm just going through it all. Let the man's heart fail because of him. So from, you said 35, from 31 on down, for those who have not read it, right? This is David and Saul having a conversation. In 32, it says that David said to Saul, let no man's heart fail because of him. Thy servant will go and fight with this Philistine. 33, and Saul said to David, thou art not able to go against this Philistine to fight him, for thou art but a youth. You just a young boy, and he a man of war from his youth. And David said unto Saul, thy servant keeps thy father's sheep. And there came a lion, Salakia. He kept his sheep, Salakia. And there came a lion and a bear and took a lamb out of the flock. 35. And I went out after them and smote him and delivered it out of his mouth. And when he arose against me, I caught him by his beard and smote him and slew him and killed him. Thy servant slew both the lion and the bear. And this uncircumcised Philistine shall be as one of them, seeing he have defied the armies of the living Most High. David said, moreover, Yahawah that delivered me out of the paw of the lion, out of the paw of the bear, he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine. And Saul said unto David, go, and Yahawah be with thee. So yes, Sister Adriana, if you are still tuned in, that was a great act of faith. David had nothing but faith in the Most High Yahawah, right? And though for those who haven't read this story, please go back and read it, because I'm not going to read it all now. But as you can see, when they came, they brought all this armor and they gave David all of this stuff. He was like, I can't fight with all this stuff on, right? I don't want all this stuff. He just went out the way he was. He didn't need all of that extra stuff. He didn't need it. So yes, that was a great act of faith. Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Sister Adriana. That was a good one. Thank you, Mom, for finding that for me. Right? Let me show some more of this video and then we'll move on and get ready to start wrapping up. Let me show a little bit more of this video. So let me stop sharing and go back to where we was in the video, because we just showed in the Bible some great acts of faith, right? Daniel, lion's den, David with Goliath, as she just brought out. And what was the other one? Somebody said so. Oh, Abraham and his sacrificing his son. So as we can see on the screen, it says unlock with a what? Great act of faith. So you got to have that faith, and you got to have that great act of faith, like Meshach, Abednego and them had, like David had, like Abraham had. Who did I read in Hebrews? You answered it, so I want you to tell me. What name did I call in Hebrews? Abel had a great act of faith. Who else? Abel. Give me the other one. Start with an E. Enoch. There we go. So I'm going to press play and we'll continue on. Great act of faith. Here we go.
And what greater act of faith could there be than believing that someone rose from the dead? And so you see why the resurrection and Jesus, this is not something God made to be something simple and easy to comprehend or believe. No, it had to be something that you would need faith for. The kingdom is the reward for that faith. That's the way he's always worked. And so you see, faith is an important concept and we can't discard it. There's always going to be an element of faith, absolutely. But I will say this. I would say that you can reach a point where your confidence in God becomes so strong, so solid, that you move into a position of not just thinking God is real, but you can get to a point where you just know through every fiber of your being that God is real. And we explored that in a recent video. And one reason we wanted to release this video is because we do get a lot of questions regarding, is there evidence for God? And I always say that one of the greatest apologetic tools, one of the greatest things that we can present for evidence is actually Bible prophecy. And so if you know anyone who asks about evidence for God, I highly recommend some of our videos in the Bible prophecy playlist, because it shows the way that the Bible has for centuries, for thousands of years.
For thousands of years, we know through Bible prophecy that these things had came to pass. You had just showed me before we went live, a man made a comment and he said that he had a book or a Bible that were before the Hebrew Israelites, and it was dated in the 1930s, right?
Before, he said it was four.
Oh, four.
Four Hebrew Israelites.
It was 4 Hebrew Israelites, and it was dated in 1930. And he was saying how racist the Bible was, and the depiction of the pictures that it had in the Bible, how racist it was. So people tend to forget that race was invented in the 16 and 1700s. There was no such thing as race. It was created by men who put themselves at the top of the race chart and everybody else or every other nation up under them. But us as humans, especially in today's time and age, have bought into that race. And this is why you call yourself Black or African American or Negro or Hispanic or Latin or Puerto Rican or Cuban or all of these things that has been given to us, right? Those are not our real terminology. So no, you're not Black. Sorry to bust your bubble. You're not Mexican. You're not Hispanic. You're not Puerto Rican. You're not, but you come from a nationality of people, right? Especially if you believe in the Holy Bible. We know that everybody comes back to one of the 3 sons that Noah had, and that was Shem, Japheth, and who else? Shem, Japheth, and who else? Who? Ham, right? So you come back to one of those people, everybody in the world, and then they had sons, right? And this is where you get some of, if you read the Bible, like Cush, Nimrod, right? And then they went out and they possessed pieces of the earth and land and called it, whether it was called Cush or Put. You have those different things. It's in the book of Genesis chapter 10. So we all come back from one of those people, one of those descendants. So you're not black, you're not white, you're not Hispanic, you're not Native American, you're not any of these things that we have been given through terminology of time from the 1600s on, right? This is why that terminology continues to change for certain people that are of, how can I say, certain nationalities, right? First we was an X, then we were niggers, and then you were Negroes, and then you were African Americans. Now you're black. For Hispanics, Hispanic just means Hispaniard, so you were Hispaniard. Mexican is a new terminology also. All of these things that we see, right? But here we're talking about faith. And faith is a substance of what? Something that's unseen. And that's what we have been talking about here today. So let's go back to the scriptures real quick. Let's go back to the scriptures. What did you say you had something you wanted to bring out? No? I thought you said, oh, you had a question or something earlier. But we answered it? Okay. So back here in Daniel again, right? Daniel 3:13, it says, Nebuchadnezzar in his rage and fury commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach. We got all that, right? So we know that they stood tall and did not what? Bow down to him, because they said they wasn't going to worship him or his image, right? And even within that, they said, even if the Most High doesn't save us out of this fiery furnace, we still are going to serve the Most High, even if we have to go through this pain. But we're going to let you know that we're not going to worship not only you, we're not going to worship the golden image. That was verse 18, right? So as we move on, as we kind of went through that, verse 19 says, then was Nebuchadnezzar full of fury, and from his visits, what's that? Was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded that they should heat the furnace 7 times more. So he wanted to, just say you had it on 300 degrees. 7 times more would be what? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That would be 1,000 degrees. If you had it at 3, he said 7 times more. So that means take it up to 1,000. 100? 1,000. No, just plus it, not times. Well, he said 7 times more than it, but I'm just going, well, that would be like 7,000 or something like that. But it was hot, right? It was so hot. And it says in 20, and he commanded the most mighty man that were in his army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Verse 21. Verse 21. Then these men were bound with coats, their horsens, their hats, their garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. All right, so they didn't even want them to get away. They bound them to throw them in. Therefore, because the king's commandment was so urgent and the furnace exceedingly hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So now it was only supposed to kill these 3. But in the king's rage and his anger, that's why it tells us not to be angry and do things off emotion. But in his rage and in his anger, he ended up killing some of his mighty men because they had to take Shadrach and Meshach and them up. And in the midst of that, they wasn't covered by the Most High, so they end up dying. So now who lost? Nebuchadnezzar, because he lost some of his what? Mighty man in his army. And I don't know nobody's army that's willing to lose one of their mighty warriors. You might be willing to lose that dude in the back who's scared to fight, but not the mighty warrior that's, you know. Verse 23, and these men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. So they got took to the furnace, right? And they bound. And they were willing to do this. They could have just bowed down. Let's be honest. Jenny Wood, Adriana, Brother Philip, everybody that's in the chat, everybody that's listening, would you have bowed down to the golden image or would you have went into the fiery furnace? Put a 1 in the chat if you would have bowed down. Put a 2 in the chat if you would have went into the furnace. Let me check the chat. Okay. Well, good thing about it is I got Jenny Wood right here with me. So.
Oh, Adriana said 2. I put 2.
2. So you would have went to the furnace, sister. Aqua, you would have went to the furnace. All praises to the Most High. She said, "I'm going to the furnace, to the burning fiery furnace that was heated 7 times more." Sister Adriana said 2. My beautiful wife, she said 2. So she going to the fire. She said we gonna get toasty tonight. We gonna get toasty tonight. God. All praises. What about you? Hello? What about you?
I don't know.
Yeah, she bowing down. What about you? It's not put up to you?
It hasn't been put up, which is still a good answer because you never know in that situation what you're gonna do. We could all sit here and say we would do it, but really.
Well, that's true. That's true.
You're faced something of that matter.
That is true. That's 100% true. Easy to say you'll do it until the time comes. Until the time comes, that's true. That's true.
Sometimes I think about like situation that I'm in right now with the diabetes and things like that. So I could sit here and say I will go to the furnace, right? But would I really go to the furnace? I don't know, because they tell me I have diabetes and I got to take these things, and I hurried up and took them.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
You bowed down.
Now, Sister Adriana, with her health and things, she chose
to do it naturally.
To go to the furnace.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. She says
what it is. So I can believe that she would go to the furnace.
Sister Adriana.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because how she handled her situation.
Yes.
Right on.
So it's a difficult thing, but that's something that you really got to look at. It
is. And it's a great way how you put that for in the life that we live in certain situations. You have to look at those situations as that. You may not be in the actual physical fiery furnace, but certain things and certain ways that you live will put you in that fiery furnace. Like you say, you could believe it for Sister Adriana because she, went about it in a different way. But for Jenny Wood right here, she say, well, I don't know. And then for Big D over there, he say, I'm not 100% sure because I haven't been put in that situation, which is honest answers. And like you say, and you can't be mad about that, That's actually a beautiful thing, right? Beautiful thing. Where we leave off at?
Would you?
Would I go to the furnace?
You don't know. You don't know. No.
No, I just want to answer it. I just want to answer it honestly, and I don't want to just say something. Because this is the thing. I'm going to answer it like this. It's 3 of us here, right? Are you asking me if it's all 3 of us here or if it's just me?
What do you mean?
Because
would you go to the furnace or not?
Well, what I'm asking.
We all have to face it on our own, regardless.
So, okay, on your own, on your own, on your own, on your own. Okay, on your own. You know what? To be honest, I think I go with what you said. I really can't answer. I really can't say until I'm put in that situation. But I believe in my heart that I would go to the furnace because there's nothing else to live for. And the reason I say that is because the faith that they have, this situation that you put into, you know, this is, it didn't just happen like this just happened. It was led up to it, you know, and you had times to where you could have exited out, but you didn't. So for me in this situation, I would say I go to the furnace, but I still also say that you don't really know that. It's easy to say that now because I'm not in that situation. But in the mindset, I would say the furnace. But it would have definitely made me think about it when he said heat it up 7 times more. It would have definitely made me think about it, right? That's a great question, though. That's a great question. What verse we at?
Right there, number 24.
20 what?
24.
We at 24? Okay.
What are you doing?
No, I was because we was right here somewhere.
That's number 24.
24, okay. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished after they got put in the fire and rose up in haste and spake and said unto his counselors, did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of this fire? 24, at the end. Then they answered and said unto the king, true, O king, true. 25. And he answered and said, lo, I see 4 men loose walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of the Most High. 26. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, ye servants of the Most High. Oh, now he's giving them respect. Now they're servants of the Most High. Ain't that something? A minute ago, he was willing to put them to death. Now he knows that they're servants of the Most High. Look how fast his attitude changed. Come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire. And the princes and the governors and the captains and the king counselors began gathered together, saw these men, upon whose body the fire had no power. So that fire had no power, nor was there a hair on their head. So nothing was wrong with them. No power over them the fire had. Their hair wasn't burned. Neither were their coats changed. Neither was their smell of fire had passed on them. They didn't even smell like they had been burned. For those people who do barbecues and things like that, you know, when you fire up that charcoal and fire, man, it's all over you. You can't get that smell off of you. Here they was in a fiery furnace and had no smell of fire. 28. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the Most High, or Barak be the Most High, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who have sent his Malach and delivered his servants and trusted in him. That's the big part. Verse 28. Who have sent his what? Malach. And delivered his servants that trusted in him. So that's what we have to do. In order to have faith, you have to trust in the Most High. But how can you put your trust in something that you don't have faith in? It's not going to work out how you want it to work out. That's what I've learned. I say something I'm going to do this. It don't work like that. You know, I think it do, but it don't. It say when the Most High is ready. Let me get something real quick. Remember that Daniel chapter 3, verse 28. Remember this. Let me show you this real quick in the Apocrypha, if I can. Real quick. Wisdom of Solomon is where I'm going. And for anybody that may want to know. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 9 is what I want. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 9. I got to get there. Hold on. Be around verse 12 or something. Let me get there. This is the 1611 King James Bible, right? If you don't have your 1611, please let us know. We'll help you get you one. Email us. Let us know. We'll do our best. If you don't want to do that, you can go online, pull it up. Just put 1611 King James Bible, right? Let me see. Okay, here it is. Verse 11. Let me see. 12. I started 12. So shall my words be acceptable, and then I shall judge thy people righteously and be worthy to sit in my father's seat. This is King Solomon, right? For what man is he that can know the counsel of the Most High, or who can think what the will of the Most High is? See, a lot of us think we know what's real and what's going on, and you got the breakdowns and precepts, and you know it. Listen, as we go on, verse 14 says, for the thoughts of mortal man are miserable, and our devices are but uncertain. So no matter how much you think you know, you only know in part. Paul told us that in his writings. It's like looking through a cloudy mirror. So all of these ox that's on YouTube, all on the streets, all in the pastors, all in the churches, and they telling you they got the truth. And if you with us, and if you with this camp, if you with this congregation, listen, it's all lies. Men only know in part. We don't know all of the truth. That's how the Most High set it up. Because if we knew it all, then you would not need the Most High. And you would not need his only begotten son, Hamashiach YAHAWASHI. This is why he doesn't give it all to us. This is why he tells us you must endure to the end. You have to fight the good fight. He doesn't care you was in the truth 30 years. He cares about fighting the good fight for those 30 years until you die. As long as you don't give up. As long as you don't throw the towel in. Or wave that what color flag when you give up? The white flag, and give up. So just know, the thoughts of mortal man are miserable, and their devices are but uncertain. Verse 15. For the corruptible body presseth down the soul, and the earthly tabernacle weigh down the mind, that museth upon many things. Your mind be everywhere. It be thinking about Amazon, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, this book, what I'm gonna buy, what I'm gonna eat, what's happening yesterday, who talked about. Your mind is on a lot of stuff. It's on a lot of stuff. Verse 16 said, and hardly do we guess right. So the things that we think we doing right, you ain't even doing right. You're not even doing it right. You think you are, but you're not. It's letting us know hardly do we guess right at things that are upon the earth. So if we're not even guessing right for the things that are upon the earth, how can you be guessing about the Most High and his son and what's going on in that other dimension that we talked about when we first started the lesson? When Solomon, which was one of the wisest men ever on earth, tells us that what? We don't guess right on the things upon earth. And with labor do we find the things that are before us, but the things that are in heaven, who have searched out? Who knows? We only know what the Most High have revealed to us through the prophets, through the writings, through the apostles, through his only begotten son. And even with that, things were spoken in what? Similitudes and parables, to where you need to be able to have discernment to be able to break this stuff down. And still you think you may have it and really not really have it. You got to just be humble and be honest with yourself. Verse 17, and thy counsel who have known, except thou give what? Wisdom. And send thy Holy Spirit from above. This is the only way that you will receive it, get it, and have understanding, is if what? The Most High give you wisdom, and he sends you his Quadash Rakah in the Hebrew, which is the Holy Spirit from above. Which goes back to having faith, which goes back to what? Believing on the only begotten son, and it goes back to what I said. You feel the wind on your flesh, but you don't know where it come from. Who stated that? Who made that comment? Let's go real quick to John chapter 3. We come right back to Daniel. John chapter 3. All right. John chapter 3. We'll start at verse 1. There was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews. 2. The same came to YAHAWASHI by night and said unto him, Rabbi, which is teacher, we know that thou art a teacher come from the Most High, for no man could do these miracles that thou doest, except the Most High be with him. Con. Verse 3. YAHAWASHI answered and said unto him, Truly, truly, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of the Most High. What is he talking about in verse 3? A lot of people just look at it as being born again. A lot of people just say, oh, well, I've been dunked in the water and this and that, and I've been baptized. And that's not what it's talking about. I'm not sharing the screen? Come. Thank you, the water, for that. That's why I say sometimes I'll be just moving fast. Come.
Your face.
Who, me?
Yeah, because you know a little delay. He was like,
oh. Well, I'll read it one more time. There was a man of the Pharisees named Nicodemus, a ruler of the Jews. The same came to YAHAWASHI by night and said unto him, Rabbi, we know that thou art a teacher come from the Most High, for no man can do these miracles that thou doest except the Most High be with him. Verse 3 is what I was focused on. And it says, YAHAWASHI answered and said unto him, Truly, truly, I say unto thee, except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of the Most High. What is he talking about? Is he talking about being baptized and being dunked in water? No.
He's talking about being baptized in the fire.
Being baptized in the fire. And what does that mean?
To be immersed in YAHAWASHI.
To be immersed in YAHAWASHI. And what does that mean?
To have faith and believe in all what was prophesied in the scriptures.
To have faith and believe that was what prophesied in the scriptures. All praises, right? And if I may add to that, I would say being born again is a
changing of the ways.
It's
like your lifestyle.
It is. It's a changing of the ways, your lifestyle, and it's also a restart button. He's actually giving you two lives while you're here on earth. The life you had before, and then the life you have after him. What a beautiful thing that the Most High is giving you a chance to hit the restart and start your life all over again. What a beautiful thing. A package or something. What a beautiful thing that the Most High is allowing you to have a restart button, to be able to restart your life and be born all over again, to have an understanding that the way that I lived and the person that I was a very evil and unrighteous person. And now I have an understanding, because before I didn't know, right? This is what Paul, hold on, is going into. We'll come right back. Romans 7, you see, this is what Paul is going into when it says in verse 7, what shall we say then? Is the law sin? The Most High forbid. Nay, I had not known sin but by the law. For I had not known lust except the law had said, thou shalt not covet. So before, a lot of us live without the law, as Paul is explaining here. Before he had the law, he didn't know it was wrong to covet. Just like before I had the law, I didn't know it was wrong to eat pork. I didn't know it was wrong to eat shrimp. I didn't know it was wrong to curse. I didn't know it was wrong to look at somebody and say, I sure like that. As Paul just spoke about, lust. Nobody never taught us that those things were wrong. This is why in verse 8 it says, but sin, taking occasion by the commandment, wrought in me all manner of concupiscences. For without the law, sin was dead. For I was once, Salakia, for I was alive without the law once. This is what I mean. This is why you need to, as she was saying, be born again, immersed. Because we were alive prior without the law. But when the commandment came, sin revived and I died. As she was saying, you have to put that old man to death and come to that new man or woman. Why? Because now you have an understanding and you know the commandments. But the thing about it is, in verse 11, it says, the whole time you was living and you didn't know about the law and you didn't know about the commandments, guess who did know? Guess who did know? Anybody? Take a guess. Who knew about the commandments?
Your spirit.
Well, yeah, your spirit. And who else? That was a good one, your spirit. And who else? You didn't know, but your spirit knew who? And who else knew? Mm-hmm. It's telling us right here in verse 11. Look at it. It says, for sin, taking occasion by the commandment, deceived me, and by it, it killed me. See, the sin knows, and it's deceiving us. It knows, and it deceives us. Wherefore, by the law is holy, the commandment is holy and just and good. This is why he says that you have to put all that stuff to death, right? Was then that which was good made to death unto me? The Most High forbid, but sin, that it might appear sin, working death in me by that which is good. That sin by the commandment might become what? Exceedingly sinful. So sin took advantage of what we didn't know. And at the time, it was deceiving us. But now we have a clear understanding. And you shouldn't be deceived, but you still could be deceived, right? This is what Paul is saying in Romans 7. So when we go back to Hamashiach YAHAWASHI in 3, when he says you must be born again, meaning you have to hit the restart button. You have to. That's the only way you're going to see the kingdom. Those people, anybody in your lifetime that you hear and they tell you that the law is done away with, that person has not been born again. So you think about all of the Christians. I think it's like 3 billion Christians in the world, right? And those Christians, they say that the law is done away with. We don't need the law. When Paul said he needed the law to know what coveting was, are those Christians, listen, go sit down. Are those Christians born again? That's what you have to ask yourself. Are they born again? No, they're not. Right here, verse 4 says, Nicodemus saith unto him, how can a man be born when he is already old? Can he enter the second time into his mother womb and be born? Yahawashi answered, truly, truly, I say unto thee, except a man be born of the water and of the Spirit, he cannot enter into the kingdom of the Most High. That which is born of the flesh is flesh, and that which is born of spirit is spirit. And that's what he's trying to explain. When we were born out of our mother's womb in the beginning, a lot of us were not fed the word of the Most High. We didn't get that bread that Matthew 4:4 was talking about. We were only getting bread only. That's all we were getting as children. Our parents did not raise us correctly. Let's be honest. Because they didn't know. So we didn't get that daily bread. And for some of us that did get crumbs, right, that were in the Christian church or Catholicism and things like that, they wasn't getting the full truth of the bread. They wasn't getting the whole loaf, meaning they were still in the flesh then. And this is why it says you have to be born of what? The Spirit. As she said earlier, to be what? Fully immersed in who? Hamashiach Yahawashi and the Father. To be born again. So when we look at it, are we really born again? When you look at yourself, ask yourself, are you really born again? Have you really let all the ways of your past go? And then ask yourself, are you truly born again? Do you truly have faith? Have you really did the act, the great act of faith? Ask yourself that. Do you bring up the past? Do you think about the past? In any type of form or fashion. You have to ask yourself, are you born again then, if you still think about the past? Because we know through the story that Lot's wife, when she looked back in representation of looking back in your past, that she turned into what? A pillar of salt. Which is a clear definition or something to a distinction to let us know to what? Not look back. And when I seen this, it came to me. I said, you know what? This is very clear that, you know, and this is why he said, if you put your hand to the plow and you look back, you're not worthy, which is a very scary thing. Very scary. Because I know it's a lot of us out there that have put their hand to the plow, but then fell back. Fell astray. Fell to the left, to the right. Verse 7 says, marvel not that I have said thee, you must be born again. Verse 8 says, the wind bloweth where it listeth, and thou hearest the sound thereof. You hear the sound of the wind, especially when it's super windy. You can hear it beating up against your house or apartment, whatever you live in. When it's super windy, you can hear the wind, but can't tell where it's coming from or where it's coming and whether it go. So is everyone that is born of the Spirit. Nicodemus answered and said unto him, how can these things be? I don't understand. How can these things be? I'm an old man. I'm 60, 70. And you telling me I have to be born again? I have to become a new person? How can I do this? Yahawashi answered and said unto him, art thou a master of Israel and you don't know these things? So this man was a Pharisee, a master, teacher, but yet he didn't know these things. Does your pastor know? Does your leader know? The one who you listen to? Is he born again? Because this master teacher right here, Nicodemus, that were teaching people, that was a ruler of the Jews, he didn't know, nor did he understand about being born again. So does your pastor understand, or does he know? Is he born again? I'll leave off at verse 11. It says, truly, truly, or verily, verily, I say unto thee, we speak that we do know, and testify that we have seen, and you receive not our witness. So Mashiach, the anointed one, Christ said he's seen it, but you don't receive his witness. You don't receive it. You don't receive it. If I have told you earthly things and you believe me not, or believe not, how shall you believe if I tell you heavenly things? Right? And this is a heavenly thing. You can't even believe the earthly thing. Almost remind you of what Paul says. I came to give you meat, but I couldn't. I had to feed you with milk. And this is basically what YAHAWASHI is doing to Nicodemus. He's feeding Nicodemus with milk, because Nicodemus doesn't have an understanding. But yeah, he's a ruler. He's a teacher. And he does not understand about what? Being born again. Did Nicodemus have faith? Did Nicodemus have faith?
Possibly not.
Possibly not.
I say possibly not because one, I'm not him, I don't know.
Uh-huh.
But two, like when you don't know certain things, like you could think you have faith until you're put into, like I said, certain circumstances, and then you kind of like bend or go back to what you're used to knowing or doing.
I'd say he had more faith at the end
Than
the beginning when he came to
but things was shown to him.
Damn. Go ahead.
But things was shown to him.
Yeah, things were shown. He started to see things. He started to have his understanding started to open up.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe that he had more understanding and more faith at the end, especially when he went to go bury Mashiach Yahushua with who? Anybody? Anybody remember the name? It was Nicodemus and who? To go bury.
It was the guy giving his tomb.
Who was it?
I can't remember his name.
Anybody? Going once. Going twice. Nicodemus and Joseph.
Joseph, that was his name. Because he was like, why would you do that?
Right.
Why would you do that?
Nicodemus and Joseph. So let's go back to Daniel. And we was at 28. Let's get ready to wrap this up.
Another good example of not having faith is Thomas, when he was
Doubting Thomas.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yep.
I'll
Yeah.
never forget that because my mama used to say that when I was little.
Yeah, doubting Thomas. He wouldn't believe until he could stick the fingers
Yeah, stick his finger
through the hole. Yeah. Yeah. He wanted to see.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So he totally went against Hebrews 11:1.
Yeah, but Yahushua knew that. That's why he called him, "Oh, ye of little faith."
Uh-huh. Oh, ye of little faith.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 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 That was a good one. Doubting Thomas. Daniel chapter 3, verse 28. It says, Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Barak be the most high of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who have sent his malach and delivered his servants that trusted in him, and have changed the king's word and yielded their bodies, that they might not serve nor worship any other God except their own Allah or own power. Therefore, I make a decree. Look how the king is changing his mind. Look how the Most High worked. From their very action, made the whole decree change. And now anybody who go against the Most High, it can be put to death. Right? Verse 29, therefore I make a decree that every people nation, language would speak anything amiss against the Allah of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made a dunghill, because there is no other power, Allah, that can deliver after this sort. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. They actually got promoted. Remember when we started off this lesson, I said you can receive what? What's one of the first things that I read that I said that you will receive if you have faith in the Most High?
You receive the reward.
The reward.
Not right now.
Not right now. But they had to do what to receive that reward? If they had bowed down to King Nebuchadnezzar, golden image, if they had fell and bowed down, would they ever have got this reward?
No.
No. They would have never got promoted, right? The Most High would have never been exalted, and this decree that the king gave would have never happened. But it took for those three to have what? Faith, stand on their faith, be willing to be put to death to what? Get the whole decree from the king changed. Now, if anybody speak against the Most High Yahweh of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, it says right here in verse 29 that they shall be cut in pieces and their houses shall be made a dunghill. The king is saying because there is no other power that can deliver after this sort. So now who believe? Nebuchadnezzar. Yeah. Now he believed. And then he promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So there's their reward. There is their reward. Go ahead.
Now, this happened before he went crazy, right?
Yeah.
So maybe he didn't believe.
No.
He didn't believe them because he was made to believe after everything had happened. Right? Because he lost his mind, the Most High.
That's because he started going off. And he wasn't, he didn't believe in the Most High. Yeah. So he made him lose his mind.
He just made it look like, kind of like in the commandments, how it says not to serve no other Allahayam but me. So noting that there are other Allahayams, but he is the Most High of the Allahayams. Right. And not to serve nobody else. Now Nebuchadnezzar served other Allahayams, but he tried to make himself as more important. Right. Yeah. So they obeyed who? The Most High. They stood with the Most High. And for that, they got promoted. Right? They got promoted. So these are three that we see that were very faithful, had faith, and went to the end and was willing to be put to death for that faith that they have. And the faith that they have, it made Nebuchadnezzar a believer. You don't even know how many other people in Babylon that was around and seen that happen were made believers, right? And not only that, they were promoted. And the decree was made about the Most High. So those Chaldeans that came to tell Nebuchadnezzar that those Jews didn't bow down, now they can't speak anything against the Most High or those Jews unless they be cut into what? Pieces. Did that happen? That happened after Daniel went into the lion's den? I believe this was before. Before? Yeah, I believe this was before. Because this is Daniel chapter 3. Because I'm thinking to myself, how many times Nebuchadnezzar dealt with those type of situations and not even realizing that if this is the same. And Daniel got put into the lion's den. But if this is the same Ahayam that Daniel is speaking of, that Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego believed in, what made him think that putting him in the lion's den was going to do something? And Daniel got put into the lion's den. Let's see. To answer your question, right? No, listen. I'm finna show you.
What does it say? Oh, you're not even paying attention. Listen, go to Daniel. Go to Daniel chapter 6.
You didn't tell us where to go.
Daniel chapter 6, verse 1. Let me know when you're there.
6 what?
Verse 1. You see it?
No, because there's a lag on here.
Okay, well, let me know when you're there. Man, it's hot in here.
Chapter 6, verse 1, right?
Yeah. Read that. That outline biblical usage.
I can't see that on anything. I can't read that on here.
Okay. Somebody read that that can see it.
I'm not trying to be funny, but I really can't.
Uh-huh. Darius the Mede, the son. Go ahead. The king of the Chaldeans who succeeded the Babylon kingdom on the death of who? Probably the same. The last king of the Medes, 538 BC, same as 1867. Darius, the son, the founder, the dynasty, Darius II or Darius III, was king of Persia during the time of Nehemiah. Darius II is the most probable because he is mentioned by Nehemiah and ruled during the time of Nehemiah. Darius III. So these were different men. So in Daniel 6, when it goes into Daniel being put in the lion's den, that wasn't Nebuchadnezzar. That was who? So that's why it was different. So when we go down, let me see. We'll start at verse 12. Go ahead. Never mind. Then came near and spake before the king concerning the king's decree, how that not sign a decree, that every man that shall ask a petition of any god or any or man within 30 days, save of thee, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions. The king answered and said, the thing is true according to the law of the Medes and Persians, which altereth not. Then answered they and said before the king, that Daniel, which is of the children of the captivity of Judah, regardeth not, O king, nor the decree that thou hast signed, but maketh his petition 3 times a day. Then the king, when he heard these words, rose with sore displeased within himself, and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him. And he labored to the going down of the sun to deliver him. Then these men assembled unto the king, and said unto the king, now, O king, that he, or Salakia, that the law of the Medes and Persians is, that no decree nor statute which the king established may be changed. Verse 16. Then the king commanded, and they brought Daniel, and cast him into the den of lions. Now the king spake and said unto Daniel, thy Most High, or thy Allah, whom thou servest continually, he will deliver thee. And a stone was brought, and they laid upon the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it, Salakia, with his own signet, and with the signet of the masters, that the purpose might not be changed concerning Daniel. Then the king went to his place and passed the night fasting, neither were instruments or music brought for him. And his sleep went from him. Then the king arose very early in the morning and went in haste unto the den of lions. And when he came to the den, he cried with a lamentable voice unto Daniel. And the king spake and said to Daniel, O Daniel, servant of the living Most High, is thy Allah, whom thou servest continually, able to deliver thee from the lions? Then said Daniel unto the king, O king, live forever. My Allah hath sent his malak and have shut the lion's mouth, that they have not hurt me, for as much as before him. What is that? For as much as before him and innocency was found in me, and also before thee, O king, have I done no hurt. Then was the king exceedingly glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no matter of hurt was found upon him, because he believed in his Allah. And the king commanded, and they brought those men which had accused Daniel, and they cast them into the dens of lions, them, their children, their wives, and the lions had a mastery of them, and break all their bones in pieces, or ever they come at the bottom of the den. Then King Darius wrote unto all the people of the nation's language that dwell in the earth, peace be multiplied unto you. I make a decree that in every dominion of my kingdom men tremble in fear before the Allah of Daniel, for he is the living Allah, and steadfast forever, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed, and his dominion shall be even unto the end. And he delivered and rescued, and he worketh signs and wonders in the Shemayim and in the earth, who have delivered Daniel from the power of the lions. So Daniel prospered in the reign of Darius, in the reign of Cyrus in Persia. So they was in captivity for a long time. And these were different kings that took over. In that, the Most High made most of them believe in him, whether it was Nebuchadnezzar, whether it was Darius, whether it was Cyrus. Because remember, Cyrus gave Nehemiah and Ezra to go back to build the temple and things of that nature. So that's why that happened. Hopefully that answers the question you had.
Yeah.
You know.
Sister Adriana said the water for bringing that out. I always thought it was the same thing.
Con. And that's why we got to go back into that thing, you know, and this is a beautiful thing that we're able to do, to bring that insight, you know. So the water for you for watching, and make sure you share that with other Ahchyam and Ahchyam, that a lot of people may think that it's the same one. So, you know, all praises to the Most High for that. Oh, she said Khan, so did I. Khan. Yeah. So we just need to have faith. But what we see here in these men, whether it was Daniel, whether it was Meshach, Abednego, whether it was let's get New Testament real quick as we close out. Oh, let me see. Okay. Let's go to the New Testament real quick and see what Peter said real quick as we close out. Acts, what's that, 5? All right. Acts 5:29, and it says, you know, they gave a decree basically to Peter and them. Oh, right here in 28, Acts 5:28, right? This is the high priest and all of those people that was going against the apostles. And they said, Acts 5:28, saying, did not we strictly command you? Huh? They strictly commanded these people, the apostles. Meaning they told them something, if you don't do what I say, something gonna happen to you. That you should not teach in this name. What name? Hamashiach Yahawashi. And behold, ye have filled Jerusalem with your doctrine. That's the same thing they don't want us to do today. They don't want us to teach in Hamashiach Yahawashi's name, right? And intend to bring this man's blood upon us. Listen to what Peter said, Acts 5:29. Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, we are to obey the Most High, Allah, power, Yahweh, rather than man. Right? Rather than man. Verse 30. The Allah of our fathers raised up Yahawashi, whom you slew and hanged on a tree. Him have Allah exalted with his right hand to be a prince and a savior, for to give repentance to Israel and forgiveness of sins. And we are his witnesses of these signs. And so is also the Qudash Ghost, or the Holy Ghost, you know, which is just really the Holy Spirit. They just put Holy Ghost, you know. That's what the church do. Whom Allah have given to them that obey him, right? So that's what Peter said. That we got to obey the Most High. Rather than who? Man. Right? Let me see if there's one more. Let me see something. I was trying to find something real quick. And he said, this is Luke chapter 9, verse 23. And he said unto them, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross daily, and follow me. Let me slow down. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, but whosoever will lose his life for my sake, the same shall save it. For what is a man advantage if he gain the whole world and lose himself or be cast away? This is what we have to ask ourselves. You gain all this stuff here in the world, cars, jewelry, clothes, women, houses, money, but do you understand that you casting your soul away? This is what it means if he gained the whole world. Remember what I read earlier in the book of Matthew chapter 4 on down, when Hamashiach Yahawashi was tempted by the tempter, which is Satan. It says he took him up and he told him he will give him all the kingdoms of the world if he would what? Bow down to him. Meaning he will make him a ruler in the world, this world that we live in. All he had to do was bow down to Satan. Sit down. All he had to do was bow down to Satan. And in that, Satan would have been more exalted than him. But that's not what happened. That's not what happened at all. Hamashiach Yahawashi did not bow down to him. What did he say? The Most High, Yahweh, is the only one who will be worshipped or is worthy of worship. That's what it means when it says, for what is a man's advantage if he gain the whole world and lose himself and be cast? Verse 26 says, for whosoever shall be ashamed of me and my words, of him shall the Son of Man be ashamed when he shall come in his glory and in his Father's, and of the Qudash or holy angels. But I tell you the truth, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the kingdom of the Most High. All praises be to the Father Yahweh. Hopefully that was this lesson was edifying for you. It was, you know, educational, to build you up on certain things. You know, like I said, I wasn't going to hold you long today. I know usually we do 3 hours and some stuff like that, but we got started a little late today. So I just want to say, Tawada, thank you for all those that have tuned in and will tune in and watch this lesson later. Like I say, hopefully it's edifying for you. That's why we do this. Anybody have anything they want to add or say? Once again, say a prayer for the Aqua, the Ak and his family, you know, that they may get better. She may get better from the sickness or the illness. And we just give all honor and glory and praise to the Most High Yahawah and his only begotten Son, Hamashiach YAHAWASHI. Let me say this before we close out. Every choice is up to you in your life. Yes, it's predicted. Yes, it's predestined. But it's up to you to have faith. It's up to you to believe. You don't have it, then it's not for you. We're not going to beat down the house. We're not going to cry. We're not going to go through all that. If you don't believe, you don't believe. If you don't have faith, you don't have faith. Then it's not for you. Let me close out with this last one. John chapter 6, verse 44. And I used to get upset, but I'm not upset anymore. And it's very clear.
What verse?
44.
And that's who?
John chapter 6. $43, I'll start at. Let me know when you're there.
John chapter 6, verse 43.
Yeah. Got it? You ready? John 6 and 43, it says, Yahawashi therefore answered and said unto them, murmur not amongst yourself. No man can come to me except the Father which hath sent me draw him, and I will raise him up at the last day. So nobody can come, nobody can believe, nobody can have faith in Hamashiach Yahawashi except the Father do that. And he put it in your heart to come after him. You can't make yourself do it. The comparative text in the New King James, it says, no one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I will raise him up in the last day. New Living Translation says, no one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws them to me. And at the last day, I will raise them up. So you have to be sent to Hamashiach Yahawashi by the Father. There it is there. So if you don't believe, if you don't have faith, then it's not for you at this time. I'm not saying it's not going to never be, but at this time, it's just not, you know. The sisters say, very edifying teaching, Tawada, all praises. I'm glad it was edifying for you. Thank you for tuning in. And this is why we do what we do. But yeah, like I was saying, you know, it's not, we want you to have faith. We want you to believe, but if it's not put in your heart, it's not put in your mind, and it's not for you, you know. And you can't be mad about that. The Most High just didn't choose you. I don't know why, you know, you just wasn't chosen, you know. So it's a sad thing and it makes you feel bad, but at the same time, it is what it is. So for those who do believe, for those who do have faith, continue to fight day to day. Fight the good fight. Don't give up. Don't wave the white flag, as they say. I don't care what you're going through, what's happened to you, what you've been through, what you're going through, how far down you are, how long you've been off, how long you've been astray. I don't care. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 and 6, it says, trust in the Most High in all your ways. Acknowledge him in all your ways. Right? The prodigal son, when he left, he went off, he was astray. He remembered and he trusted in who? The Most High. He said, I don't have to live like this. Right? I don't have to be a whore. I don't have to sell my body. I don't have to be a dope fiend. I don't have to be an alcoholic. I don't have to be whatever it is that you are. You don't have to be. But what thing you have to do is have faith in the Most High. And the beautiful thing about the Most High is he doesn't judge us as like a human man or a human woman would. That's the beautiful thing. I know I said that one. This is it. I promise. Isaiah 55. I just want to show this to show that he's different than us. And then I'll close out. Isaiah 55 verses, I'll start it. Let me see. I'll start at 6 real quick. It says, seek Yahawah while he may be found. Khan, right? Call ye upon him while he is near. This is what I'm basically saying. Verse 7, let the wicked forsake his way, right? If we living wickedly, if you went off, you going astray, like I said, I don't care how far you off. It says, let the wicked forsake his way and the unrighteous man his thoughts, and let him return to Yahawah. And he will have mercy upon him. And to who? Our master. For he will abundantly pardon. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith Yahawah. And that's where I want to leave off at. Right? What a beautiful thing. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. And that's a beautiful thing, that he doesn't think like us. I just leave off at 10. For as the rain cometh down and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but to water it the earth, and maketh it bring forth bud, that it might give seed to the sower, and the bread eater, so shall my word that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereunto I sent it. So just remember that. If you are one of the chosen, no matter if you're astray, if you're going off like the prodigal son, whatever it is, just remember to acknowledge him in all your ways, and he'll lead you back. He'll bring you back. Just keep the faith. Don't wave the white flag. Barakatah. Giving praises, honor, Barakatah. Giving praises, honor, glory, esteem to the Father Yahawah, the only begotten Son, Hamashiach YAHAWASHI, who the world says Jesus Christ, and to all of the brothers and sisters, the Ahchyam, the Achwathyam that's out there, we say Shalawam, Ahchyam Achwathyam. Hope you have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your Shabbat day. And like the sister said, hopefully this lesson was edifying. It was edifying to her. So even if it's just one person out there in the world that it was edifying for, we did our job, and we give praises to our Abanawi Yahawah, call Allah Yahawah, Shalawam Ahchyam Achwathyam, and Ahchyam Achwathyam. Ahchyam Achwathyam. Shalawam.